Welcome to a review episode of the Permaculture podcast. Today we'll look at The Regenerative Landscaper, Design and Build Landscapes That Repair the Environment by Erik Ohlsen. This book includes a solid base of information that would be familiar to any permaculture practitioner, reframed through a lens that focuses on regenerative landscaping. The Regenerative Landscaper is a comprehensive approach to this work, containing 53 chapters across 9 parts. Those larger divisions begin with Part 1, The Wisdom of the Earth, and then proceed through Compose with the Land, Conceptual Landscape Design, The World of Soil, Water in the Landscape, The Built Environment, Planting Earth, and Creatures of the Landscape, before we end with Part 9, Restore the Wild. Chapters within each of these sections are oriented around the specific topics, with some chapters doing a better job to fit those themes than others. Supplementing these chapters are pieces from other folks, like Emily Mallard and Kendall Dunnigan. I love that there are also multiple case studies included in the book. I love seeing these in permaculture texts ever since reading Peter Bain's The Permaculture Handbook. Some of the studies in the Regenerative Landscaper include the Permaculture Neighborhood Center and the Sebastopol City Hall/Library Landscape. So what's good about this book? Let me start the rest of this review by saying that you're in good hands with the information you'll find in the Regenerative Landscaper, because Erik has years and years and years of experience in the permaculture and regenerative spaces. So what he writes about comes from his professional work across all aspects, from installation to design to managing the people involved, over a range of scales from small garden spaces suitable for Zone 1 permaculture, up to projects that cover considerable acreage, if you're more interested in Zone 3 or Zone 4 practices, all of which shows consistently through the plethora of information you'll find in this book. But if that's good, what makes this book great? I like that this book is coming to us now as more folks look at transitioning to a regenerative job, career, or lifestyle. If you're looking to make a living practicing permaculture professionally, having a landscape design and implementation company, or a nursery business that works with one, are two of the main ways I know of at the moment to do so. Both of these also scale well, whether you want to start off small and grow this in parallel with what you're currently doing, want to look for a business to apprentice with for a few years, or if you have the time and resources to take the jump, dive right in and build something meaningful over a few growing seasons. Everything Erik shares with us is applicable for those professional practitioners, as well as the backyard amateur who's just getting started, looking to expand their knowledge and share plants and practices with their neighbors or local communities. Even with the good and great aspects of this book, there are some shortcomings. As much as I enjoy the Regenerative Landscaper, for anyone deeply steeped in permaculture, much of the material isn't going to be new or groundbreaking individually. The book is derivative of content that has already covered many of these ideas better by other folks like David Holmgren, Toby Hemingway, or Alan Savory. It also comes across as written specifically to differentiate itself and Erik's work from those authors. If I were the editor of this book, I would have heavily leaned into those existing authors and their works for the principles, chapter titles, and headings, giving credit to them every step of the way. Then, to differentiate the Regenerative Landscaper from those authors and their works, I would have given deeper attention to the unique perspective Erik brings to the conversation as another view on how these ideas can be considered and implemented. Because he is a talented educator, and the writing in the book's good, it just falls a little flat if you've been in the community for any length of time. The book would also be better served with a focused restructuring into 2 main divisions, design and implementation. The design section would come first and contain all the chapters required for design, including principles, patterns, observation, context, social connection, mapping, and the tools to design. Implementation could then hold all the chapters, organized by topic, on soil, water, the built environment, planting, animals, and landscape restoration, which would then be a deeper reference when moving from design to getting tools in the soil, plants in the ground, and animals on the land, all within the context and maps developed in the design stage. That said, The Regenerative Landscaper is a good book that stands alone in the library of permaculture texts. I feel comfortable recommending it to anyone who practices permaculture. While I would say that it's essential reading and should be in your library if you're considering moving into or actively setting up your business as a professional in the permaculture or regenerative spaces. Overall, I give the Regenerative Landscaper 5 out of 7. The Regenerative Landscaper is published by Synergetic Press and retails for $32.95 in paperback, with the ebook being discounted to $14.99. It's 520 pages long and was released on August 22nd, 2023. As Erik is a past guest of the show, in addition to a link to the book, I've also included links to 2 of our interviews together so you can learn more about his background and perspective directly from him, from the times when we discussed professional permaculture and professional permaculture education. Until the next time, spend each day sharing your gifts with the world while taking care of Earth, yourself, and each other.